that. And yeah, well, let's jump right into game number 3, and this will be our last map for sure of the day. So I'd like to take the opportunity also to thank everybody who has watched today. I hope you've enjoyed what we've brought to the table so far, and well, definitely tune in for the offline finals when they do happen. I believe I actually don't know the day off the top of my head when those finals are.
It's the 1st of June, and more importantly, you shouldn't be tuning in, you should be showing up, because it's a free event, you know, on a Saturday. Like, how more perfect could it be?
There you go. I'll book my ticket immediately, and I'll be there. It's probably only like $1,000 plane ticket. It should be okay. I can make it out. If it's a free event, so I should be good. Good to go.
Okay, flawless logic by you there, sir. But I just want to point out that most train tickets in the Netherlands are not that expensive. But yeah, travel is going to be the only limiting factor for some players. But yeah, let's get into this game. Here in the top left, we have our pink Zerg player. Both are finally competing for the, in the last match for that last spot at the offline events. It's the pink Zerg from Team Copenhagen rules. It's Storm against this red Zerg opponent in the bottom right of Belgium Prestige. From Team Liquid, it's Ret.
And yeah, it'd be pretty shocking to think of this event without Ret in the offline finals. So let's see what we can pull out here in this last game. Both players are making that Overlord, so we won't see the same sort of thing game we saw in map number 2. On this map, which is Belshir Vestige, by the way. So, well, we'll just see.
Interesting comments here by Storm and Ret. I'm not sure what he's referring to, actually, because they haven't scouted each other yet, so...
I'm guessing there was some lobby chat or something.
Oh, he said GLHF.
Oh, okay.
No, he didn't say GLHF. That's the thing. So, I'm not sure if that's the thing, but it was the thing that kind of happened. And, well... both 14 supply, no pool, no hatch. Might be a 14 pool from either of them. Just going to see in a couple of seconds.
Second drone for both of them, so it will be most likely the 15-15. So back to what we saw more like in game number 1, which we would expect plays a little bit more into Ret's hands, but then again, Storm was able to gain a bit of an advantage in the early mid-game in that game number 1. So, actually going to be a 15 hatch from Ret. Not hatch, pool. 15 pool from Ret, and then a hatch after that. Most likely, I would assume, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, considering the map size, I would say that Storm is technically ahead. Technically ahead does not mean you're actually ahead, and actually he decides to get an extractor, so his pull is even further delayed. So if Ret wants, he might get something done with a bit of aggression, but I significantly doubt it. And yeah, we're going to see at least a 2-base game from both of these players. Both Overlords are now moving into position. Are going to see the fact that their opponent has expanded. It's going to leave them very comfortable and snuggish.
Yep, and we see a fairly late gas from Ret, so that speed's still quite a ways off, which will obviously limit his ability to get too aggressive, but, I mean, with that early second hatchery, he can maybe go for, like, right when speed finishes, turn out, like, a bunch of lings and go for something at that sort of timing. That two hatch Zergling Flood can work at certain times, but, well, knowing Ret, that doesn't really seem like his style of play, so I'm expecting just a more laid-back game from him.
Yeah, it's really up to both players. They're both getting a perfect, at least Ret is getting a perfect scout off. There's no queen on the way. Of course, the pull is only just finished for Storm, so there's no queen obviously on their way. But the Overlord does see the fact that there's gas being mined. You probably didn't see that there's over 100 gas being mined. But that's not really the big deal here. The bigger deal is, of course, the fact that Zergling speed is on the way immediately for Storm. So I would expect even more links. So he's either doing this for safety, or he just wants to be aggressive right off the bat.
Yep, and let's see how they react and when that Baneling Nest does come down for Ret. And you really can't put out the Baneling Nest too long in this matchup, otherwise you're really risking dying quite easily to any number of different link timings. So hopefully Ret drops that down somewhat soon, but trying to get as many drones as he can before going for that. Gonna add some lings on as well, there's that Baneling Nest, so not too far behind his opponent. And like you said, it's a pretty decently sized map, so he should be fine with that.
One thing to look at is that both players have positioned their Overlords in such a way is that it's almost impossible to sneak out any units without them noticing. So any aggression, like the links moving out from Storm right now, will be spotted by Ret as long as he keeps his eye on the map. And this should really, put him on a high alert, because there's already six links in front of his own base, and the links, they're not stopping, you know, he's making banelings, and this is definitely going to be some heavy aggression here from Storm.
And Ret does spot out the banelings with his lings moving down, so he might want to back up and make sure he doesn't get like surrounded a bit here before these banelings finish morphing in. And save these lings. His baneling nest is just about finished, but these banelings are already on their way in. He's going to try and morph some banelings in the background and try and hold this off, I think. Has a couple queens in the front and a spine crawler, which should help out a bit. Spine trying to go to work, but morphing those banes right in the front, they get picked off immediately. And
big hitter with one baneling, and whoa, how many links does Ret actually have left? Not a whole lot.
0 at this point in time.
Yeah.
He has 20 on the way, so he should be able to hold this off, and actually, particularly some of the banelings from Storm, I mean, you want to take out that spine crawler, but 2 banelings detonated on only that spine crawler, so not the most effective use there. And Ret should be able to clean up 1 baneling. Can he get the second one before it finishes morphing in? He needs to be careful of these lings so they don't blow up. That wasn't the worst hit in the world. The spine crawler at the same time actually taking a fair bit of damage, but it gets transfused. Nice transfused by Ret, and he will hold off that early aggression for now.
Yeah, he successfully holds off this aggression. He's firmly ahead in the drone count. Of course, he still has both of his queens, so he will be able to continuously inject larvae if he wants to. Morphs a couple more defensive banelings, which I think is a very good idea. Maybe he should continue to wall off at his natural with an evolution chamber. But yeah, Ret at this point firmly in the lead, and finally Storm is reverting to making drones. So is he going to continue his aggression, or does he want to transition? And Ret has clearly indicated he wants to transition because he's going into lair.
Yep, and well, Ret, this is kind of, he showed he was really good at this in game number 1. Just picking off these banelings when and where he can, and just getting those cost-efficient trades. But Storm's coming back in, and Ret still doesn't have he has these 2 defensive banelings, and they get some decent hits off. Queen taking a lot of baneling damage once again. And this spine crawler, is doing work, and I really like the way it's positioned so that you really can't get a great surround on it with the position of the baneling nest. And that spine crawler plus the transfuses from the queens, that's really made this whole defense. Nothing gets past this spine crawler at the front at all.
So cost efficient by Ret, that one spine crawler, keeping it alive for so long, allowing it to do so much damage. And at this point, Ret is even driving the link force of Storm back. Looking at the unit stat, we see that Ret is, well, he's actually ahead in the army and the economy. Storm is desperately trying to catch up, making more drones and now making more links in order to hold this off. But I feel Ret is in really good shape, and he's now adding on the Spire, and it's going to be the one to be aggressive in the air this time.
Yeah, and Storm, I mean, he's adding on the Roach Warren, so I think he might be going for a follow-up all-in of sorts here. There's no lair in sight quite yet, and I think he has some idea of how far behind he is. And the Mutas, I mean, they will eventually kill everything on the ground. But
big hit on the drones, taking out quite a few.
That was a great hit. Yeah, now Storm, I mean, he really feels like, probably will really feel like he has to all in now. I mean, you don't have time to go for lair. Adding on 7 roaches, he's definitely going to go for this. Ret adding on a 3rd base, and that'll be pretty tough to defend. I'd prefer to see him, he'll probably just sacrifice that if he sees like that really big all-in coming and just try to focus on defending this natural base, potentially, depending on if he gets, how many mutas he gets out in time. And the Spire is almost done, so by the time these slow roaches actually get across the map, there will be mutas out.
Okay, so here's 2 things I really want to point out. One, mutas are going to be really good because there's only 2 queens and almost no anti-air, except for those. However, making roaches has been proven in WCS to be somewhat over-counter to heavy mutal display, and actually using the 3rd as like a sacrificial lamp in this case in order to kill off the roaches away from them actually doing economic damage is quite a cool move. And more importantly, these roaches are off creep, they have no speed, so mutas will be able to do a lot of damage against them.
Yeah, it would be nice to kind of actually catch this force out in the middle of the map with the mutas and try to harass him.
Oh, here we go.
In the front, and he can start actually picking off these banelings. There's nothing to stop him from doing that, and well, that'll make the Ling force for Ret even stronger. And yeah, I mean, going to work in these banelings, and look, they're morphing in so slowly. The fight's still going on, trying to force everything else back, but the mutas are still just going to work on those banelings, and only 4 finish. And there are 2 other ones down, but the mutas do make such quick work of those banelings, and now it's just roaches and 2 banelings left, and there's just, it's just so hard for Storm to deal with, and Mutalists are just going to work right now. The 2 spine crawlers as well.
Yeah, Roach is not doing the amount of damage they wanted to. All the banelings have been killed here for Storm, and Ret with an incredibly well executed defense keeps zoning his opponent's links with the banelings, and GG well played from Storm. Ret, we're gonna see you at the offline finals.
I like Ret's little happy face before the GG even popped out. That's a little cheeky maneuver there, but yeah, there was that banter early on as well, so no surprise there. It looks like they're 2 good-mannered and friendly players. So yeah, nicely done by Ret. And the mutas, I mean, yeah, those banelings, like when you don't have any anti-air, the banelings just kind of they melt so fast to those mutalists, and there's just no way they could win that fight.
All right. Do you know if Frank maybe wants to say a few words now that we've finished?
Not 100% sure. I will actually go ahead and take a look, see if we should do that. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Alright, I should throw this out for a second. Let's see. Yep, you're going ahead and taking care of that. So yeah, I'll let you. Yeah, go ahead and let me know. Go ahead and let me know if he does want to say anything. In the meantime, well, I don't know what in the meantime. I'm trying to think.
Well, in the meantime, I want to remember that people, you should totally come to the offline finals again, because it's going to be a pretty sick event. We've got a lot of casters lined up. We've got 2 streams lined up, I think. I'm not 100% sure if that's like all official and arranged, but you know, that's what we're going for. It's going to be a free event, and just being there and